I went to Bellevue Hospital in New York City, which is sort of the largest mental hospital in New York. And I followed a forensic psychiatrist around named Dr. Sacha Bardet, who you will notice is one of the co-producers of our movie. And I learned a great deal about this intersection of psychiatry and the law and psychopharmacology. And I felt that if I sort of focused on that intersection long enough, I would find an interesting story to tell. And so I worked on the script for a number of years and tried to get it started, but it's hard to get a movie made in Hollywood, and it gets a lot easier when you have people like this.
The biggest challenge, I think, for us was the first 35 to 40 minutes, finding the right balance for Act One. At least I thought was the most difficult part of the process, which was mostly in post-production, but that was the part that scared me. And also he does something that's not very typical, which is the film changes point of view. The movie starts out being about Emily, and about halfway through it starts to be about Dr. Banks. And that laid on top of the fact that it's really kind of, each act is a different film in a way. It starts off as movie A, then it's movie B, and then it's movie C. And I just thought, for a story that was this clear, that there were a lot of layers, a lot of things for me to play with as a filmmaker.
The reality that I wasn't going to be able to go to medical school, and in the time it took to prepare for the part, and I didn't have a huge relationship with pharmaceuticals or an understanding of them, so I suppose it was convincing myself that I could play a psychiatrist authentically.
The relationship between pharmaceuticals and people in America, and probably people throughout the world, and their doctors is obviously a very complicated one. And the movie sort of uses that as a background. I can only speak as someone writing in America, but there has been a tremendous proliferation of drugs, of psychopharmacology, and a lot of people take these medications and they see them on TV in advertising, and the advertising is very simple, and the advertising suggests to you that your depression might be cured very easily.
You asked me what's my opinion on the advertising of pharmaceuticals in America. Well, I guess it can. I think Scott kind of answered that. I hold the same opinion as he. I think it can be quite alarming. I think it's, in the work I did in preparation for this, I met with several doctors and patients who had their lives, they'd either turned people's lives around or had their lives turned round through accurate and effective diagnosis and prescription, but at the same time, it's obvious that we have a tendency nowadays to look for the shortcut, and the advertising, which we all know can have a certain sort of bias, has an effect on our relationship with pharmaceuticals, isn't necessarily a good thing, I don't think. I think we both decided without telling each other that we wouldn't do, we didn't do an awful lot of planning, did we, between us? I mean, we had a great script, and when you have a great script, sometimes the act, the work of an actor is kind of straightforward. You stick to the page and you play it for real, and the layers reveal themselves, later. But I think we both decided that we weren't going to try and construct some plan. We just played it in the moment, right? Thank you. Thank you.